Nic Dowd from the Washington Capitals, powered by Verizon. Dowder, good morning. How are you?
Hey, fellas. Good morning. How you guys doing?
I mean, you got to be wiped out at this point, right? Back-to-back games, travel back home. Like, How are you holding up physically right now?
Yeah, I mean, after any back-to-back, you're pretty exhausted, and you get home and you're, right into the mix of it with the kiddos, and which is nice. It's nice to wake up to them, but any back-to-back is definitely gonna tire you out, especially with travel, like you said. Yep.
What time did you get back to your house last night?
Last night, well, actually, it wasn't too bad because the flight from Carolina is only like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Probably got back around
midnight.
Probably laid down around 1:45.
Oh, it's still pretty late.
Because we had Carbs on yesterday, and we asked him about getting from. I'm sorry, who'd they play before? They played Boston. Yeah,
Boston. Yeah,
Boston to Raleigh, and he said the exact same thing. He says, "Yeah, I got back in the hotel room about 1:45." Crazy?
Yeah, I think last. The night come from Boston, I fell asleep at like 1:51. I remember, which was early because I typically you don't fall asleep right when you get into the hotel room. It takes a second to wind down. Like there's you're flying, there's bright lights on the bus. It takes a second to wind down. So I was actually impressed that I fell asleep so early.
Who do you sit next to on the plane?
Me and Reamer, Trevor Van Riemsdyk. So it's good. Good chop session.
What do you guys do?
Just talk.
What do we do? I'd say if I don't bug Reams, he puts the headphones on and he's like a bit of like a podcaster, or he watches some Barstool stuff quite a bit. But he's open to chat, and then so if I get in his ear a little bit, the headphones come off, and then and then he'll start chopping with me, and we'll we sit next to the card table too, which is
entertaining.
A lot of comedy. Yeah, very, very entertaining.
What's the game? What's the card game of choice on most Capitals flights?
I think they play 13 up, 13 down. You guys familiar with that one?
No. Please explain.
I mean, I'm going to butcher it a little bit, but there's 4 guys, and you start at 1 or you start at 13. I don't think it really matters, but you deal 1 card out, and then you cut the deck, flip a card, and that's the suit that is trump, meaning like that's the suit that beats all suits. So like if you have if the card that's flipped over that the deck is cut is a heart, then any heart can beat any other suit. And then if you both play a heart, it's the highest heart that wins. So like a 2 of heart would be like an ace of spades, but like a 3 of hearts would beat a 2 of hearts. So then no one sees your cards. You go around kind of left of the dealer, I believe, and you lay your suit, and the whole point of the game is you have to call your tricks, which is a point.
Yep.
Are you guys betting?
I mean, I think they play. Yeah, I think it's like if you burn, which means you don't get the amount of points that you originally call before the card is played.
Right.
Then you go down 5 points or 10 points. And then, so to get to the end of the game is you go 13 up. So if you start at 1 card dealt, then you go to 2 card dealt, and then 3 card dealt, and then 4, and then you go all the way up to 13, and then you go 13 all the way back down. And then I think at the end of the game, they've kept score from every single hand of who got their points, which is like a +5, and then who burned, which means you didn't get your points, and that's like a -5. So by the end of the game you might be a couple $100 down or whatever it is. It's nothing crazy, but there's definitely money involved.
Yeah.
So it's a 4-way game, not a team game. So you don't have a partner. You're playing all against the other 3.
Yeah, you're playing all against each other, which is great because that's what leads to the comedy, is that guys are trying to get theirs, and
it's similar to a 4-way. It's similar to 4-way spades, kind of.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I would say so. Yeah.
So Dowder,
last
night's game between you guys and the Canes got super chippy. And looking at the box, usually you had 12 penalty minutes in last night's game. Most nights that's going to lead the team in penalty minutes. But you look down the list. Duhaime had 15 penalty minutes. Mikey had 19. Willie had 14. He's no stranger to the penalty box, but I mean, that was a wild game. You were chirping at somebody from the penalty box. Take us through what kind of lit the fuse there between you guys and the Canes.
Well, I mean, it's a good rivalry. They're a good hockey team, and that building's it's a tough place to play. They play I think they have one of the best home records, if not the best in the NHL. So they play a little different at home than they do on the road.
They're 30-9 at home, by the way.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, they're a good hockey team, and going into that building, you know what you're going to get. And you know, I wouldn't say it was anything in particular, except for, you know, I think we were down a little bit. The game got away from us, you know, at times, and guys get frustrated, and then. You know, I think if guys feel, you know how it goes. You feel slighted in any way, then it's, well, that, you know, if we're down 5-1, I'm gonna try and take some skin here. So, but I mean, I don't know. There's nothing in particular. You know how it goes. That happens time to time. People get frustrated and kind of boils over a little bit.
Do you think Ovi is getting sick of getting asked about breaking Gretzky's record before every single game at this point?
Comes with the territory.
I mean. Man. Yeah, I think it. You know, great. What is it? With great power comes great responsibility. Mm-hmm. So I think he's going to be asked about that even after he breaks it. I mean, it's going to be, you know, it's like me being like, you know, the only question I got asked in my whole career was, Nick, how did you grow up in Alabama and play hockey? And it's like, guys, we've answered this like 1,000 times. So
right. You're tired of giving that answer. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, that's my great chase question that Ovi gets. The equivalent. So, I think he, you know what, I think O is doing a great job of managing, I guess, the media. You know, it's not like we have a crazy media here in Washington. You know, if this was happening in Montreal or Vancouver or Toronto, that would be much different. But even saying so, like, I mean, I'm sure he's dealing with a bunch of people reached out to him, you know, text, phone calls. Like, he's probably dealing with a lot of external stuff, and he's doing a great job of continuing to play well and kind of manage that. So.
I mean, do you ever see the guy down? It's like, you know, we're on the outside, right? Anytime we see him, the guy's up, right? He just always seems to be like a freaking joy to be around. Does he ever have bad days?
I would be too if I had 890 something reps.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, are you amazed by his diet?
And what do you mean?
Well, there was an article in The Athletic talking about, you know, he's known for the Cheetos and the Subway and
chicken parm and
chicken parm all the time. He just eats like a regular guy, but not like some elite athlete who has a nutritionist.
Because when we ask you about your diet, you have a pretty strict diet. It sounds like.
Where would you guys hear that?
Well, I mean, when we ask you what are you having for breakfast, you always say, "I'm having some."
Yeah. No, I would say so. I mean, I'm not going to turn down, like, I had a cookie on the plane last night.
Right.
That was from like the restaurant. I'm not going to turn that down. You know, like I still have the sweet tooth, and you know, I'm still going to have, you know, like some beers and wine or whatever. Like when we go out to dinner with the fellas, or if we go out with my wife for a date or something. But yeah, I would definitely say as I've gotten older, any type of
carbs,
you know, or not carbs necessarily. I mean, any type of, like, you know, cheat meal of any sort, or if, you know, I have too many beers, it all catches up much quicker than it used to. That's for sure.
Well,
so
you're not a fast food guy, are you? Are you a fast food guy?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
What's your favorite cheat meal? What's your go-to
favorite cheat meal?
Yeah.
Well, I would say I'm definitely more of a savory than sweet, or than like sugary.
Okay.
And then, so, I mean, I would say I'm a huge breakfast guy. Like, I love, like, I could crush like some banana pancakes, like things like that, lathered in syrup and butter. I think I'd probably say like that would probably be like my last breakfast if I had to pick.
Gotcha.
Talking to Nic Dowd, Cap Center, powered by Verizon. All right, big picture. Well, I guess it's small picture, but the last week hasn't been great, right? You guys have lost 4 out of 5. Should fans be worried about how you're playing here recently?
No, I mean, I don't think we're worried. You know, I think it's a narrow scope, right? I mean, you want to look at big picture. We won a lot of hockey games. We were the first team to clinch playoffs in the NHL. You know, we beat some very good hockey teams. But I mean, I think at any point in the season, there's going to be, you know, there's going to be challenges. Honestly, I think, you know, what we're going through right now is going to be, you can look at things in two different ways, right? Like you can be all doom and gloom about losing 4 out of the last 5 games, or you can look at these 4 out of the last 5 games and approach that as, okay, we have a lot to learn from these 4 games before we get into the playoffs. Because every single night applies or suggests the ability to get better or learn from your mistakes. And I think every night there's opportunities for us to kind of, self-taught, right? Like there were some mistakes that we made last night that we can now clean up. There's guys that are getting put into different positions on the ice, playing with different players that, now can watch some film and we can learn from that too. I think, the challenging thing about clinching playoffs so early is that we're continuing to try and get better every single night as a team and individuals. We've already put a lot of the work in throughout the season, right? There's 7 games left, but you want to be sharp heading into the postseason. And I think that's the goal. So I think, in my opinion, I think we can take these last 5 games, even against Boston. I don't think we played our best hockey. I think we played good enough to win, but there was, and that something to learn from that game was that, okay, you have a team down 2-0 regardless of who they are. Mm-hmm. It's kind of, you got to step on the gas and put that game away, as opposed to, you let a team come back in 2-2 and then, you have no, I mean, even all the way down to the last second, Charlie Lindgren made a huge save with no time on the clock. Yeah. So,
I brought that up, Dowder. I brought that up last week, and I'm not saying the Ovi thing is a distraction for the rest of you guys, but remember 2 years ago when Boston just ruled the world and they crushed the regular season and they had 60-some wins?
Best team in hockey.
Right. And then they lost in the first round of playoffs to Florida, I think.
That's right.
So that's what
you're right,
I think Caps fans are kind of worried. All right, they've been so dominant in the regular season, but these games really don't mean anything because you've already clinched the 1 seed. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of worried about, all right, entering the playoffs, is it going to be the team that was really working for that 1 seed, or is it the team that really doesn't have to win because they've already clinched?
Yeah, and I get that. I mean, I think that's the challenge, right? I'm not a believer in thinking that we can take these last 7 games off and then every single person in our locker room can say, all right, boys, it's the playoffs, it's game 1, let's turn it on. That's just not how it works. I mean, you want to feel good about your game heading into playoffs. You want to feel sharp. You want to feel, I mean, quite honestly, you want to feel like you're a little worn down a little bit, right? Like you're kind of sharpen your weapon a little bit, and you've kind of, you want to hope that, okay, I've gone through all this shit that I can go through during the season, to get me to this point, to get me to the player that I am. So anything that happens during these playoffs, I'm not worried, right? I'm even keel. We can fix this, or we can come back, or we can, put the foot down on a team and beat a team and close out a series. Those are all the teaching lessons that you have to pull from the regular season. So I think that's the goal. I mean, is it challenging at times with 7 games left, knowing that you've clinched? Yeah, but there's other teams that are going to do that too. And the sign of a good, veteran hockey team is, okay, regardless of where we are, we're going to go out and be professionals and play well and win these hockey games, or at least play well enough to win. So when you come in the locker room, everyone's saying, oh, you know what, we lost that game, but we played really well, or I'd say 8 out of 10 times you play really well, or at least our team does, we're going to win those games. But there's going to be games that we lose that, we should have won, but we didn't. And you guys know the difference, right? You as fans walk away being like, man, they should have won that hockey game. They just ran into a hot goalie, or maybe they took some penalties or whatever. But there's an overriding feeling of this is an opportunity to learn and just to continue to get better.
All right, Dowder, get some rest. We'll see you back in action tomorrow night. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, bro.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
All right, thank you, buddy.
Nic Dowd from the Washington Capitals. He's powered by Verizon. We'll be right back.